Good people of YouTube, my name is Spanner and welcome back once again for some more League of Explorers. It's time for the third wing, Ruined City, and as usual, let me just make two things perfectly clear. One, this is heroic modes only, because I find the other two modes, normal and class challenge, to be fairly straightforward. And second, this is not a budget guide. I intend to use the entirety of my collection, and that's it, I guess. So let's jump straight into the decks I used to defeat the bosses and then the fights themselves, shall we? Okay, so if you may have noticed, this video is a little bit late if you compare it to the time I usually make it. And that's all the first boss's fault, Lord Slitherspear. I had a nice little rogue deck, kind of a mill fatigue deck that I used and worked in heroic. And then when I tried to record this again, I failed about 20 times in a row. So I got mad and yeah, I left. So I'm recording this now. I made a new deck, which I find it's a lot better than my previous one. The other one may have been too gimmicky, even though I kind of like gimmicky decks to beat these fights, but this one works, so yeah. Okay, so boss's name is Lord Slitherspear, and he has the hero power Getting Hungry. A 0 mana on auto cast hero power, which means he will always use it at the beginning of his turn, and it summons a Hungry Naga. So a Hungry Naga is a 1/1 minion for 1 mana, but after each during each of his turns, the Hungry Naga get hungrier and hungrier, and that means they get stronger and stronger. So in turn 2, they will the Hungry Naga he summons will be a 2/2. On turn 3, it'll be a 3/3. On turn 10, it'll be a 10/10, and so on. However, the creature does not really change. The base creature is always a 1 mana 1/1. It just receives a buff. So they can be silenced, and if you use a card like Sep, for example, to return it to his hand, if he plays it back, it'll just be the base creature. So that's a good thing to know. The fight is a little bit different from normal mode, which I assume you've already played. There is no Sir Finley to save, which means there is no cauldron. So I won't bother listing the cauldron over here because there isn't one. There is, however, two pretty strong minions. He has the Slithering Archer, a 2 mana 2/2, which in heroic mode has the battle cry deal 2 damage to all enemy minions. So a pretty nasty volley of arrows. And then he has the Slithering Guard, a 5 mana 5/7 with taunt. And he also plays that card from previous weeks, Looming Presence, that 3 mana, draw 3 cards, gain 6 armor. So those are his special cards. He also plays a bunch of strong minions, but the hero power is the main concern because he has an endless supply of really strong minions. So I went with a priest instead of a rogue, as I had originally planned. So we need to deal with the early game and the late game. So I went with 2 Circle of Healings to combo with our the Light Wardens we'll get out of Light of the Naru, and to combo with Holy Champions and with Oaken Eyes. And with Northshire Clerics, of course. We'll also have 2 Power Word Shields, just for some card draw, which is kind of important here. 2 Doomsayers to help out with the onslaught of Hungry Naga. 2 Shadow Deaths, 2 Big Game Hunters, 2 Cold Light Oracles. Honestly, it doesn't really matter if he draws cards because the hero power costs 0 and he gets a strong minion anyway. So I kept this because it draws us 2 cards, and there is a slight chance to mill him if he uses Looming Presence. Also have some Death Lords. Death Lord, Doomsayer behind the Death Lord is really strong because he will always kill the Death Lord if he can. And that kills 1 extra minion. Shadow Fiend, just to reduce the cost of the cards we draw, and I want to draw a lot. Mass Dispel. 2 Mass Dispel. Draws a card and silences all enemy minions, great against the Hungry Naga. We've seen the Okanize and the Holy Champions. Vol'jin, good at getting rid of strong minions. Using the new Priest cards, Entomb. Choose an enemy minion and shuffle it into your deck. I actually haven't had a good chance to use it when I tried the deck, but I think it's pretty good here. It's a removal, so seems pretty good, and it's fairly cheap. Although we also have light bombs, which really useful against all those Hungry Nagas and strong minions that he has. Okay, so this is it for the Lord Slitherspear's deck. So let's fight the guy, shall we?
Anduin versus Lord Slitherspear.
Okay, let's see if we can start with a good hand. Oh, this is pretty good actually. The Northshire will challenge the first Hungry Naga. He'll probably play an archer. He usually coins out an archer. Frost Shock. Well, that's something, I guess. Squinting out a 3. Oh, Looming Presence. Okay. That's fine.
Right away.
Enjoy the Death Lords. Oh, another Looming Presence. Oh, you actually have 10 cards. Oh, that's nice. How would you like to burn 2?
Right away.
1 less Archer, 1 less Water Elemental, 1 less Frost Giant. Beautiful. Let's play a Shadow Fiend. And let's draw some cards. Oh, nice, I can play a free Power Word Shield.
Is someone injured?
It's time to draw all the cards. If I hit that... Now let's hit with this. This way he needs to use both minions to clear the Death Lords. And that's fine by me.
I enjoy raiding.
Ice Howl, that's not so fine. Although I can get a pretty good Vol'jin. It's a shame we don't have a circle though.
The spirits be restless.
Well, goodbye Shadow Fiends. You worked really great for a while. This is going to be annoying, but We'll deal with that. We have Shadow or Death, so we could get another one. That's a very big board. We need a light bomb. Or a circle. Circle works too. I don't get the light warden, but if I get a light bomb I can play it immediately. This kind of works.
Death does not scare me.
Right away.
Would have preferred to combo it with the Doomsayer, but... Are you sure you want to draw that many cards? Circle of Healing. How can it help me? Organized Circle kills pretty much everything. Except these two. What do I want to do next? And using the hero power with Okanai doesn't really work. I guess it does. Then I kill the other with Vol'jin and maybe play Doomsayer.
Right
Yeah,
away.
let's hit that.
Oh.
Embrace the void.
Goodbye, boards.
Here come the
It's a shame I can't use one of these on that, but we'll play a Doomsayer to counter whatever he plays next. It's almost out of cards, actually.
How many fingers do you see?
Let's draw some cards. Oh, I'll heal with this one, thank you.
In the light's name.
No more slithering guards. Oh, that's terrible. Not a fan of that. Only 3 cards left. We could have a pretty good Doomsayer once he is out of cards and plays a bunch of stuff. But we're entombing this. Big game that... and kill this. That could get a death. He's playing a lot of stuff now, actually. Well, we could kill stuff with the Holy Champion. Once we heal it, of course. And do I want to mess the spell just one? Sure. Oh, slithering guards.
Does this hurt?
Guess we're countering whatever he plays. Nice, nice. Thank you, Doomsayer.
How many fingers do you see?
Okay, he's out of cards. He can still get these though, which are a bit nasty. when he has this damn thing. Curse of Rafam, not pleasant. It costs 2 mana to get rid of. Light Bomb could be fantastic, but not now, later.
Embrace the
Okay, this doesn't combo with the Holy Champion. I want to use the Light Bomb before healing, so as not to kill the Holy Champion. Oh, this is a pretty good Light Bomb right here. Kills everything. And not my guys. Okay, only has 2 cards. I believe one is another Curse of Rafam, I think he has 2. Yeah. Another Light Bomb, but I'll just death this.
Does this hurt?
Maybe I should kill off the Okanai. Oh, I only have 2 cards.
Almost out of cards.
What's the last cards? Oh, nice.
I've got the beast in my sight.
This hurt?
Nah, I think we got this. We got this on lockdown.
I'm out of cards.
Entombed.
Does this hurt?
Yeah. Perfect. Goodbye, Slitherspear. 1 down, 2 more to go.
You have my gratitude, Explorer. Shall I lead you to the final piece?
Okay, now with that done, the second boss is Giantfin, which is a giant murloc. And since he's a murloc, his hero power is obviously called Murgle Murgle. 0 mana, draw 2 cards, and it's also an autocast, so he'll always draw the cards at the beginning of his turn. Now, a hero power that draws 2 cards and it's automatic, you might think that milling is a viable option. Well, it isn't. First, his deck is filled with murlocs, and murlocs are fairly cheap to play, so he can just dump his whole hand as much as he can and play a bunch of murlocs. So it doesn't really, it's a bit hard to make him burn cards. And also his deck, I don't know the exact number, but it has about over 40 cards. So yeah, he has a ton of minions. And let's see, besides the huge amount of murloc power he also has a card called Murgle Murgle Nya Nya. Yeah, you heard that correctly. 3 mana and summons 5 murlocs that die this game. Usually not horrible, unless it summons an old Murkai that died and it kills you. But yeah, bunch of murlocs, including all the nasty stuff like war leaders and the old Murkai, and this special card. So for this I went with a rogue deck, which is basically to kill all the murlocs. It's a murloc genocide deck. We have everything, a lot of board clears, 2 backstabs, preparations, 2 deadly poisons with blade flurries, 2 shivs. A lot of these cheap spells are basically to combo with Wild Pyromancer, which are really, really incredible here. Blood Mage Thalnos for some extra spell power, 1 Explosive Sheep, 2 Undercity Valiants. The Pyromancers, Fan of Knives, again fantastic. 2 Cold Light Oracles for card draw, and since they are actually murlocs, they can get buffs from War Leader, for example. 2 Death Lords to just a big wall that murlocs can smash into. 2 SI7s, 1 Tinker's Sharp Sword Oil, 2 Abominations, 1 Antique Heal Bot because Murlocs can get out of control really quickly and deal a bunch of damage, and then 2 Dark Iron Skulkers. These, again, amazing. If you want to make some changes, I would probably maybe remove both Valiant, or maybe 1 Valiant and 1 SI7 and add 2 Shadow Steps. Just for use with Skulkers and Heal Bots, all that kind of good stuff. So yeah, the Kill All Murloc stack. And it kinda works. So let's kill some Murlocs, shall we?
Valera versus Giantfin.
Watch your back.
I think I'll keep the Fan of Knives and the Shiv. Deathlord is not bad. Another Shiv. Not that great of a hand, but Fan of Knives can really be helpful. Not against that. But I guess that will Shiv. Wow. That is a ton of Murlocs.
Job's done.
Another Abomination. Those will come in handy later. Come on, play 1 health. No. Wrong order. This AI does very weird things.
Job's done.
Let's see, maybe a Deathlord, maybe a Shiv Valiant. Yeah, the Deathlord will just die. Yeah, I don't see a problem with that. We'll just play Abominations back to back, maybe. That'll buy us some time. I should have killed one first. Okay, one last buff to worry about. Have an Abomination. I guess Baron Geddon could be pretty nice too. Please play more Oh, that's not that good. I guess I do have the other Abomination. That's a ton of Murlocs again. I'd be pretty happy with a... no, Pyro. This works. I think I'll play a Sheep too, just in case. He usually doesn't trade unless he has to. Oh, more? Fine. Guess I'll draw some cards. Fan of Knives, Backstab. Pretty good hand here. We have some good combos for the SI7s in the Valiant, so I'll just play this now. Oh, by the way, this guy also has... Why do you play that first? Although, I do appreciate the buff. That's kind of nice of you. Yeah, this guy also has that new Paladin cards. I can't remember the name because there's also Shaman cards that has a very similar name. Anyfin is awesome, or Anyfin is something like that. Either way, he has that card that costs 10 mana that summons 7 Murlocs that died. And I don't know if you've noticed, but this fight would be a lot harder if he actually played things in the correct order. I mean, we all know the Hearthstone AI leaves much to be desired sometimes. But again, how hard is it to make sure those cold lights, not cold lights, the guy that gives +2 health to all Murlocs, I forget the name. I mean, how hard is it to make sure that only gets played at the end of his turn, once it's the last thing he wants to play? And also making sure he always attacks, he plays everything first and then attacks last, something like that, to make sure the Tidecallers... Oh, he's playing that Paladin card, isn't he? Yeah. That's fine. Yeah, doing that, making sure the everything will die anyway. The problem is if he plays a war leader, but I think these will also have two. Let's see, the war leader is +2/+1, right? Guess I'll kill this. The Abomination doesn't die as easily, maybe. And perhaps he'll play something else that dies too. Yeah, as I was saying, making sure the Tidecallers... And here's a war leader. I guess everything dies anyway. That's a ton of Murlocs. Oh, Skulker! How nice to see you. Yeah, make sure the Tidecallers attack, everything attacks less, so the Tidecallers have the maximum buff. Also, making sure perhaps that the that old Murkai over there attacks at the end as well. Do we have lethal? So it has the maximum damage. Let's see, 7, 10, with the Blade Flurry 13, 16. Oh. We have exact lethal.
This guy's...
And he managed to draw way more cards than we did.
A shame. With a better upbringing, you could have been a decent sort.
So yeah, this fight could be a lot harder if he actually played things in the proper order. But alas, he does not, so we made quick work of him. And finally, the last boss of the Ruined City is Lady Naz'jar. Her hero power is a passive one. Pearl of the Tides. At the end of your turn, replace all minions with new ones. Yours cost one more, so that means that her minions will get replaced over... well, all minions will get replaced over and over, but hers will be replaced by minions that cost one more, so they'll grow increasingly powerful. So, to take advantage of that hero power, it's very hard to outvalue her. So I went with some sort of a flood deck. Just fill the board with as many minions as we can and just try to finish her off with Savage Roar. That's basically it. So 2 Innervates to help us play stuff, 2 Living Roots, mainly for the summon 2/1/1 saplings. Darnassus Aspirants, because if she doesn't kill them, it's basically a free wild growth with a minion attached, because once it gets transformed it loses the death rattle. 2 Echoing Oozes to get more minions. Jeweled Scarabs, because we get we discover a card that's not in our deck, so that's pretty good. 2 Murloc Tidehunters, 2 Savage Roars, Cold Light Oracles for card draw, and we kinda need the card draw. And for 3 mana it will usually get transformed into something a lot better. 2 Imp Masters, we'll only get 1 Imp out of it, but it's good enough. 1 Mind Control tag, she might develop a pretty good board, and this is a good way to deal with it, and gets 1 extra minion on your side. 2 Razorfang Hunters, 2 Dragonling Mechanics. 1 Keeper of the Grove in case we really need to silence something. 2 Violet Teachers. I originally had 2 Power of the Wilds here, but then I realized they wouldn't work, because the buff would disappear once the minions got transformed. But I kept the Teachers anyway. We do have some spells, and it's not a bad minion overall, so if we get some free 1/1s out of it, so be it. 2 Silverhand Knights, again it's a 5 mana minion and a 1 mana one, I think. Yeah, I think the Squire is a 1 mana one, so it's not a bad deal, and the Knight itself will usually get transformed into something better. Dr. Boom, it's a 7 mana creature and we get 2 Boom Bots, and a Sea Giant. Let's see, the Sea Giant will... well, the board is usually flooded with minions from both sides, so it's pretty easy to play Sea Giant. However, I happened to encounter something interesting when I played the Sea Giant the last time I tried this deck. It wouldn't really get transformed, which I found weird. Because I added the Sea Giant because it'll always get transformed into either another Sea Giant or Deathwing, and now I guess it can be transformed into Varian Rin. But it wouldn't get transformed, it would even keep the damage and debuffs. So I don't know what's up with that. But yeah, this is the deck I used for Lady Naz'jar. So let's see if we can rush her down.
Malfurion versus Lady Naz'jar.
The power of the tide will...
Alright, Lady Naz'jar.
Protect the wild.
Guess I'll keep the Tidehunter. Oh, this is nice. This is nice, so we can have it already. We don't have to worry about it.
Blade of Azara. Who are you to challenge?
Got some saplings.
I am Sir Finley Mergleton. The pleasure is...
You're not a rogue, Sir Finley. You don't get to say the pleasure is mine. Oh, this is a pretty nice one. Can we get and we draw this? Pretty nice. 3 mana. We got some pretty good 1-drops. Nice. Oh, you have Lightning Storm? And you had to roll a 3.
goes back with the Rod of the Sun and
Damn
burns
it.
on his way.
I didn't know she had Lightning Storm. She never used it against me. We could play... Yeah, no, let's flood the board since we do have the Savage Roar. Let's keep the Violet Teacher for once we have a spell. I have to say we're doing pretty good. Feral Spirits, these only cost 2 mana each, so they'll be upgraded to a 3-drop. What is this? Imp Master. Nice.
Wash over our enemies as a tide.
Your hero power deals 1 extra damage. Does
Extreme.
this work for druids? I actually don't know. We have 6 minions. How much damage do we have? So 6 times, well, 7 with me. 7 times 2, 14. Plus hero power, 15. 15. Yeah, this is not enough. 15, 16. 16, 19, 22, 23, 24. This is a 2-drop. Okay, let's kill some of these guys.
Your turn to
And we'll play the Silver Hands.
Attend me. Ready, sir.
So we have 6 minions. We'll get a full board once we get the Imp. That might be a pretty nice Savage Roar, depending on what we get. Damn it. Had to go for that one.
Princess.
Oh, Leroy. And a Flame Waker. Ho ho ho! Nice.
For the wilds.
Let's kill some things here. This was a pretty nice stroke of luck. Damn it, why'd you have to kill Leroy? All he wanted was some chicken.
Pay attention, class.
Okay, I think we pretty much have this. Let's just rush her down. I'm actually very tempted to wait for turn 9 to see if we can draw the other Savage Roar. Kinda want to... I would kinda like to see 3 Savage Roars in a row. That would be nice. But I guess it's not meant to be. Let's see. Let's see, 4 times 2, 8... Plus 8, 16, yeah, more than enough.
Bravo! The pearl is ours. Accompany me to the Hall of Explorers, and we shall assemble the artifact together.
Alright, so this has been the 3rd wing of the League of Explorers, the Ruined City. So please join me next week for the 4th and final wing of this Hearthstone adventure, the Hall of Explorers. So, until that time, thank you guys for watching, hope you have enjoyed this video, and I will see you all next time.